Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I am Ryan Boland. Thank you all for joining me. I'm pretty sure y'all know by now that business mogul Elon Musk has called off his acquisition of Twitter. I think it was a $44 billion acquisition, something along that line. He called it off. Honestly, that's how I really kind of felt was going to happen anyway. But hey, he's a businessman, right? So look, I'm just going to read a small portion of this article, and then I'm going to give you my opinion of what I believe this means for people like ourselves, for the most part, conservatives. I'm going to give you my opinion, what I think this means for conservatives who may be on Twitter, who may have thought about getting an account with Twitter. So let's get into this. And it says Tesla CEO Elon Musk has abandoned his deal to acquire Twitter for $44 billion in a letter to Twitter filed with the SEC on Friday. According to the letter, quote, Twitter has not complied with its contractual obligations. For nearly 2 months, Mr. Musk has sought the data and information necessary to make an independent assessment of the prevalence of fake or spam accounts on Twitter's platform. Says Elon Musk recently called off his $44 billion Twitter deal in an unsurprising move after months of back and forth negotiations with the company and its board of directors. The SEC has since published a letter sent by Musk lawyers to Twitter chief legal officer Vijaya Gadde, stating that the social media platform failed to comply with its obligations to disclose the true number of fake accounts on the platform. And you can actually read the letter for yourself. It's actually, if you go to Breitbart News and you look up the title of the article and you scroll all the way down, the actual written letter is there. You can read it on your own. I'm not going to read it here. But that's basically all I'm going to read in this particular article, because it's pretty straightforward. But I just wanted to give my opinions about what this might mean for conservatives in general who may have wanted to open up an account with Twitter, or who already have an account with Twitter and may feel like this may be some backlash. Now, let's be real. Let me be real with you. There's going to be some backlash. Obviously, there's going to be some backlash. On the flip side of this, as I said earlier, this is a business move on the part of Elon Musk. So I'm not mad at him. In fact, I'm not mad at all. This is something that he had to do. I mean, you $44 billion, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. And who would want to invest that kind of money in any kind of business or corporation or endeavor, and knowing that the people that you're trying to, that you're trying to invest in, or the company that you're trying to invest in, is being shady, But this is a business move on his part. And to be honest with you, as a businessman, I commend him. He does what he did, what he had to do. Now, as far as those people who have accounts on Twitter, look, you should have known this, and you was hoping that he would acquire this, because he was all about free speech and helping to restore people who may have had their accounts taken down and so forth. What that might mean for you? Well, if he pulls out, which is what it is, he said he pulled out of the deal. This may not look too good for you as people who already have accounts on there. It might not look too good for you. It might come back in a negative way. Now, with myself, honestly, I got an account with Twitter years ago. When I say years ago, this is before I got politically involved in any shape, form, or way. This is like in the early, I would say 2012, 2013, something along that line. And it was suggested to me, why don't you get on Twitter? Why don't you get on Twitter? Woo, woo, woo. I didn't know anything about Twitter. Could have cared less. But I did it because, okay, they suggested that I do it. And so I went on and got a Twitter account. I was nowhere even remotely involved in politics, knew nothing about anything, didn't know about the Democratic Party or any of that and their lies and all of that. I didn't know anything much about the Republican Party and what they was originally created for. I didn't know anything about that. So I just went on and got the Twitter, opened up my Twitter account, and I said a few things, but it wasn't nothing. And ever since then, I haven't said anything on Twitter. until recently, about maybe like a couple of weeks ago, when I reopened the account. I actually created another account. Created and opened up another account because I felt, okay, Elon Musk is about to take it over. He's all about free speech and allowing everyone to have a free say on Twitter and not worry about being censored and so forth, because they're saying things that are not politically correct. And so that was encouraging to me, because now obviously I'm more politically involved. And so I figured, okay, well, this would be an opportunity for me to broaden my horizons, to get more, to give my say and the things that I've learned through studying and reading and so forth, and to just go ahead and say what I want to say. But now that this has happened, it's like, I don't, I'm like, well, but like I said, deep in my heart, I was kind of like, I don't, there may be a possibility. I was thinking to myself, there may be a possibility that this just might not work out, and that he might pull out. I had that feeling, but I wasn't really sure. But now that it has actually happened, I don't want to join any kind of account where I feel like that when I say something politically that goes against the norm or goes against the other political statements, or that challenges them, that I'm going to be censored simply for voicing my opinion. I feel that's wrong. I feel it's against our free speech. But Twitter is it's privately owned, and technically speaking, they have a right to say, well, we don't want these people to say what they want to say. We don't want them to say anything, which is crazy, because what I've heard from people like Mark Dice, in one of his books, and I have all of his books, great writer, by the way. I like this guy. He's awesome. In one of his books, he talks about Twitter, and he talks about how that they're known for censoring conservative voices and conservative viewpoints, but yet at the same time, there are accounts of people saying some of the craziest things. So radical and so far left. I think he's talking about there's some pornographic some pornographic accounts on there and so forth. Basically, it's okay for them to be on there, but it's not okay for you to view a conservative point of view. You'll get censored, or the algorithms on Twitter will make it harder for people to reach your information. Stuff like that. I don't want to be a part of that nonsense. I would rather go ahead and do my YouTube as much as I can. Okay, or find some other way, but I wouldn't want to be a part of that. And when I actually created a new Twitter account, I didn't put much. I just put a little something on there and said I was off for a while. Here I am. I'm back. But I didn't put anything political or anything, because deep in my heart, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to even start right now, because I'm not sure whether or not Elon Musk is going to actually take this over. Like I said, I had this gut feeling that it might not fall through. But now that it hasn't fallen through, I might just take myself off of there. Why bother? If I can't say what I want to say, why bother? Why bother? So what I think this is going to do for conservative voices is it's probably going to put us in a bad situation. I'm not saying, be like, forget it, I don't want to be on here. Say what you got to say. But I don't want to be on any platform that's going to censor what I say. I got to constantly monitor what I say. I got to monitor what I say. What if I decide to say, well, you know what, this transgender thing that they're pushing on our children, I think is sick and I think it's wrong, woo, 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 and you decide to censor me for something like that? What's radical about what I just said? Not a single solitary thing. But then you risk being censored. I don't want to go through that, because that'll make me mad, make me want to cuss. Then I have to repent to God because I cussed out the Twitter people and all that. No, I don't want to be in that position. Why put myself in that? So it is what it is. Professional, business move on his part. But for those of us who are conservatives or independent or maybe libertarian, and we voice our opinions on there that may not line up with the radical leftist agenda or line up with their political views, you may risk being censored again. The thing is, we're going to have to either create our own platforms or find platforms that allow us to voice our opinions, allow us to voice our views. My thing is like this in the closing of this video. My thing is this. I don't mind going on platforms that allow me to voice my views, my conservative views, but I don't want it to just be all conservative views. You know, like everybody that's on there is saying the same thing that I'm saying and agreeing with the same thing. I want people to agree, but at the same time, it is something my boy Anthony Brown Logan said, it becomes an echo chamber. You know, and I don't want to be in something that's an echo chamber. I want to be able to voice my views, voice what I've studied about communism and Marxism and progressivism, and then state my view. See, I'm a teacher, so I like to teach information. I like to give information that people might not be aware of. So if the platform allows all kinds of different voices to come on there, then that's what I don't mind being a part of. You might be a Democrat or a liberal, whatever, and you might be a sensible Democrat or sensible liberal who's willing to whose statements basically has some reason and logic to it. And I may challenge that statement and I may challenge that reasoning. Something like that, I don't mind. You know what I mean? I don't mind that. I would rather for someone to challenge my statement and me challenge them back rather than just be on a platform we all saying the same thing. You know, this is just for conservative voices. Oh, this is just for leftist voices. It, like you said, it's an echo chamber. We just bouncing back and forth. I say something and the word comes back to me and bounces back to me from someone else. Yeah, I agree. You're right. You know, I know I'm right. I hate to sound arrogant, but I know I'm right. But what if there's someone on there that's challenging me? I don't mind people like my YouTube channel here. I want all comments to be welcome. As long as you're not trolling, I welcome all comments. Now I may not respond to all comments because some comments I look at and I'm like, they're not trolling, but they're right on the edge. They sound like they're ready to cuss me out because of my views. And sometimes I won't even respond to them. Sometimes I will. I say, you need to clarify what you're saying. Okay, I don't understand your statement or whatever. And sometimes I will respond to them. And I'll hold my position. You know, I'm going to hold my position. I'm going to hold my viewpoint. I'm going to hold my opinion. It can change, but 9 times out of 10, it's not going to change. So I'm going to hold my position. But I don't mind people challenging my position because at the end of the day, when you believe in something and you believe it hard enough and strong enough, you're going to stand on it. Thing is, stand on your convictions. You believe in something, stand on your convictions. So I don't mind people challenging my convictions as long as you're not trolling. I don't mind you challenging my convictions because I'm going to sure challenge yours. So my YouTube channel, the little bit of people I have on there, okay, I welcome all comments because it don't become an echo chamber. So that's just what I feel on that. You know, I just feel like, you know, hey, look, you know, it might look bad for those of us who are conservatives that are on Twitter, that we fear that we might get censored or whatever. You know what? Look, maybe you should stay on there. Stay on there. I'm not saying leave Twitter, but, you know, maybe you go ahead and stay on there. Stay on there. Voice your opinion. You may have to moderate some things for a little bit. Voice your opinion and then go on. Me personally, I don't know now. I'm debating about it now. I'm debating about whether or not I should say anything because some of my views may be considered radical. So I'm debating now. But what do you guys think about this Elon Musk pulling out of this? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe to this video. God bless you all. See you again on another Black Conservative.